what you think that I can be. I'm the one at the sail, I'm the master of my sea. Oh, ooh, the master of my sea. Oh, ooh. I was broken from a young age, taking my soak into the masses, writing my poems for the few that look at me, took to me, shook at me, feeling me, singing from heartache, from the pain, taking my message from the veins, speaking my lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the... You made me a believer, believer. You made me not, you made me a believer, believer. Pain, let the bullets fly, let them rain. My life, my love, my drive, it came from. You made me a believer, believer. Third things turns and a prayer to the ones up above. All the hate that you've heard has turned your spirit to a dove. Oh, ooh, your spirit up above. Oh, ooh. I was choking in the crowd, building my rain up in the cloud, falling like ashes to the ground, hoping my feet they would drown, but they never did, ever lived, ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke up when it rained down. It rained down like. You made me a believer, believer. You made me not, you made me a believer, believer. Pain, let the bullets fly, let them rain. My life, my love, my drive, it came from. You made me a believer, believer. Last days last by the grace of the fire and the flames. You're the face of the future, the blood in my veins. Oh, ooh, the blood in my veins. Oh, ooh. But they never did, ever lived, ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke up when it rained down. It rained down like. You made me a believer, believer. You made me not, you made me a believer, believer. Pain, let the bullets fly, let them rain. My life, my love, my drive, it came from. You made me a believer, believer.
We go hide away in daylight. We go undercover, wait up the sun. Got a secret side in plain sight. Where the streets are empty, that's where we run. Everyday people do everyday things, but I can't be one of them. I know you hear me now, we are a different kind. We can do anything. We could be heroes. We could be heroes. Me and you. could be heroes. We could be heroes. Me and you. We could is love in a little light, love in a little light. We could be, all we're looking for is love in a little light, love in a little light. We could be heroes. We could be heroes. Me and you. We could be.
Peace up, A-Town down.
Yeah, okay.
Usher.
Let's go. Let's go.
Up in the club with my homies, tryna get a little VI. Keep it down on the low key. You should know how it feels. I saw the shorty, she was checking up on me. From the game, she was spitting in my ear. You would think that she knew me. Decided to cheat. Conversation got heavy. She had me feeling like she's ready to blow.
Watch out.
She's saying, come get me. So I got up and followed her to the floor. She said, baby, let's go. When I told her, I said, shorty got down. She said, come and get me. I got so caught up, I got she told me. Look at my girl, you be the best of all me. Next thing I knew, she was all up on me screaming. She's all up in my head now. Got me thinking that it might be a good idea to take her with me. She's ready to leave.
Let's go.
But I gotta keep it real now. Cause on the 1 to 10, she's a certified 20. But that just ain't me. Hey, cause I know if I take that chance, she swears it's gonna leave. But what I do is the way she dance makes Shawty alright with me. The way she I'm like, yeah, just work that out for me. She asked for one more dance, and I'm like, yeah, how the hell am I supposed to leave? And I said, yeah. Shawty got down and said, come and get me. I got so caught up, I got you told me. Look at my girl, you be the best of all me. Next thing I knew, she was all up on me screaming.
My outfit's ridiculous. In the club looking so conspicuous. And wow, these women all on the prowl. If you hold the head steady and forget about game, I'ma spit the truth. I won't stop till I get them in their birthday suits. So give me the rhythm and it'll be off with their clothes. Then bend over to the front and touch your toes. I left the jag and I took the rolls. If they ain't cutting, then I put them on foot patrol. How you like me now when my pinky's valued over 300,000? Let's drink, you the one to please. Ludacris fill cups like Double D. Me and Ursh once more when we leaves them dead. We want a lady in the street, but a freak in the bed that say,
Shawty got down and said, come and get me. I got so caught up, I got you told me. Look at my girl, you be the best of all me. Next thing I knew, she was all up on me screaming.
Take that and rewind it back. Lil John got the beat to make your booty go.
Take that, rewind it back. Ursula got the voice to make your booty go. Take that, rewind it back. Ludacris got the flow to make your booty go. Take that, rewind it back. Lil Jon got the beat to make your booty go.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Hey, go! Bring me down, can't none bring me down. Your love is too high to bring me down. Can't none bring me down. I said, bring me down. Can't none bring me down. Your love is too high to bring me down. Can't none bring me down. I said, clap along if you feel like a room without.
Are you guilty of laying off your people, especially in these testing times? The number one reason is that your business is not making enough revenue. Sales is the lifeblood for any business. And the truth is, most entrepreneurs are not good at selling. The truth is, sales can be tough, frustrating, maybe embarrassing. And why? Because 88% of CEOs and business owners have never professionally trained themselves in selling techniques to drive their numbers. We understand your frustration. Today, after 20 years of hands-on selling experience and achieving more than $100 million in sales revenues, the 10x Sales Mastery for CEO and entrepreneurs has learned that sales is a game of numbers. Selling can be fun, and especially once you win, it's liberating, it's fulfilling, and very rewarding. Not just for you, also for your family and your employees. Good salespeople are the first ones to get hired. Good salespeople are the last ones to be fired. Our mission is to impact your life with a winning sales acumen. The proven 10x Sales Mastery for CEO and entrepreneurs will equip you with the perfect elevator pitch and positioning. It is backed with an intensive weekly accountability tracker that guarantees the performance to make your business revenues not only consistent but also predictable. So here is your challenge. If you want to get really rich, then train yourself in sales like your life depends on it. Because the truth is, your business surely does.
Welcome all to Sales Equals Income. And I'm so glad to have a full house. One second. So thank you all for coming, and definitely I'm sure we all agree that sales can be something that can be life-changing. And once sales comes through, a lot of things in everybody's lives and businesses can turn around. So let's dive straight in it and take you through the content that we've prepared for you today. What we want to cover is how to win profitable clients consistently, even in the toughest times. And thank you, Walid, and a few others who threw some questions in the chat. And that's something extremely important because we want to engage out here. The first thing I want to tell you is a story. There were two salesmen who were working in two different companies. And this company decided that we need to do something and increase our sales. So they came up with an idea, why don't we tap Africa? And Africa is a place where everybody thinks they have a lot of money, and maybe yes, maybe no, if you know how to get the money out of there. So these two companies were actually shoe manufacturing companies. And they said, you know what, let's go to Africa and find and create and develop a brand new market. The first sales guy went there, and he was pretty disappointed when he actually went there. And the first thing he did is he called his factory and he said, you know what, I'm coming back in 2 days. Nobody is wearing shoes here. Everybody is walking barefoot. Africa is an extremely poor country. There's nothing going to come out of here. I'm taking the next flight and coming back. Now, what did the other salesperson do? He actually called straight to his boss and he said, you know what, sir, nobody is wearing shoes out here. So each and every one can become a potential market. I want shoes in all different price ranges, and let's get them in all sizes and create an entire line of factory to create and get more shoes into this region. What I want to tell you is it's about the perspective. It's about how you look at it. And especially in these times of COVID, what happens with most of our clients that we see repeatedly all the time, they are, for the last 3 years, and I want to ask you all of you this question also. For the last 3 years, how many brand new customers are you talking to? How many new clientele have you created? 90% of the businesses are talking to the same people that you have been talking in the last 3 years. And this is where the entire breakthrough and the mind shift needs to come. Because in today's times, in COVID, someone was talking about virtual selling versus face-to-face selling, and in the questions that we had. It's all about how do you get a brand new clientele. There's two ways of doing it. You take your product and go to a new segment, or you take a new product and go to your own segment. And these are the creative things that you've got to take control in 2021. And how to do that is something that we're going to cover during this exciting 2 hours. So I'm so happy you've given me 2 hours, and I'm going to promise you that I'm making maximum value of your time. Going to dive in straight away. Are you all excited to hear this? If you're excited, type a yes in the chat right now. Let's hear it from all of you. If you're excited to hear how we're going to get into a brand new market, what works, what doesn't. Thanks, Olivia. Thanks, Hemant. Thanks, Irfan. Thanks, Walid. I love engaging audiences, and that's what's important, because we're now in a virtual world where everybody thinks we can multitask. But guess what? There is no such thing as multitasking. If you want to multitask, you're only going to be screwing up multiple things at the same time, and that's what works. Oops, can you all see the screen? Yeah. So take a lot of notes. I'm going to be throwing nuggets all throughout the session. I encourage you to chat in the chat. Chatting is going to be more effective than speaking, because some people speak longer than the others. And if you want to get maximum value to all of you, but do chat so that I know exactly where your thinking frame is. and we can make it more relevant to your own businesses and what you want to do in this region. Share emojis and aha moments if you get any. And we're going to take questions in the end. We have a lot of time for you guys. There is a special bonus in the end as well. And something that we believe in is in a diamond. I would encourage all of you to take note of something that was impactful during the next 2 hours that you want to apply in your businesses immediately, like from tomorrow, from this week. And that's what we want to do. So if there's a diamond that you want to share in the end, I'm going to encourage you guys to tell us what was the one big takeaway that you said, oh yeah, I already knew it, or I didn't know it, and this is what I'm going to apply tomorrow. So if you can all share that, it's also going to be 2 reasons for this. It's not only going to motivate you, it's going to sink in deeper for yourself. But secondly, it could help someone else as well. Because when you share in a forum like this, like 15, 20 people, whatever we are, 20 people, right? It just helps the others to sort of open up. And it can apply, it can motivate. You never know, you just may just motivate someone else. Agreed? If all of you are ready to share the diamond, type diamond in the chat now. Let's do it and let's dig in. So I'm going to try and keep you guys awake. I know it's a long day and it's 7 p.m. But yeah, thanks, Hemant. So why is this workshop important? Because sales is the lifeblood for any business. If I'm talking too fast, let me know, because I love to talk fast. No time to waste. A business can have the best product or the best service in the world, but if you cannot get more customers, there is no income. And let me put one thing right here. We don't talk about selling ice to an Eskimo. That is not sales. You've got to have first a good product and a good service. This is not something that we discount. The best sales happen when you take care and over-deliver, #over-deliver. And that's the best sales technique anybody can teach you. So if you think you're going to come here for some quick tricks, which is fool your customers, there's no such thing. We're talking about building relationships with our customer. We want to take care of them and have them for life. So if that's what you're here for. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah? Okay, awesome. Okay, great. So just remember, sales is the #1 highest paying skill in the world. So if you're an employee also, sales is something that will bring my numbers to you. And I'm going to share some of my journey and you'll see how it's actually applied. And especially in these low economy, you want to focus on revenue. If you guys are business owners or anything, any part of, even if you're just an employee, you need to start looking at owning your business. And the only thing you can contribute maximum to your employer or as a business is how you're going to bring brand new revenue to your business, because that's the only way anyone can sustain. Stop firing people, stop losing people who've given you their lives 10 years, 15 years. I mean, that's just cowardice, The first thing I always say, if as business owners, you're firing people because you can't meet ends, the first one you want to consider firing is yourself. So guys, take it as a challenge. If you're doing that, it's probably because you're not getting enough revenue, and that's your responsibility before anybody else's. Okay, so how many of you enjoy selling? How many don't? So let's have in a chat, like, love, or hate. So let's see, don't, yeah, hate, like, or love? Hate, or Aisha, okay. I have a love there, okay. Enjoy, awesome. Olivia, hate, all right. Walid, I love, yes. Awesome. Hate, love, and hate. Oh, someone's got a double dating happening out there. I enjoy. Okay, Lakshmi, thanks for sharing. Shrista, Gini. Thank you guys. I love you guys when you're engaging, and I love it for that. One more thing I want to just raise to your attention is maximum people in this room I've never met before. So that's what we talk about when we're talking about getting into a brand new segment. But there's only one reason why people don't really like selling. And let's rub this in for you guys. It's not because you've been rejected. It's not because you're lazy, and it's definitely not because you don't like people. We are mature adults. You can't say I hate selling because I get rejected. No way. There's something else that's going on because of which people don't like selling. So let's rub this in. But the good news is 20% of people actually get 80% of the sale. And we all know that. So basically, even if you see right now in real estate, and that's where my passion is, And there are some brokers and some agents who come back with awesome deals, like really awesome sales that they're doing. They're really high performing even right now in this COVID time. I mean, honestly, this is the best time to get into real estate, but there are some brokers and some agents who are doing super nicely. And some of them are just like, not getting it right. So, I mean, am I going to say now that 80% of people are just unproductive and go fire them or whatever? There's only one reason you won't like selling, because you don't know what you're doing. The only one reason you won't like selling is because you're not winning. And if you're not winning, it's because you've got something wrong in your process. Now, we always say that the best salespeople in the world are children. Like, you just can't not get it right. Is anyone of you who said you don't like selling married? Anyone's married out here in the room? Say yes if you're married. Anyone married in the room? Say married. Oh, yeah. If you are married, that means you're in sales. Yeah, 20. Oh man, Rajesh, you're like the best salesperson in the group, I think. So if you guys are married and wives, you are the best salespeople, I'm telling you. I'll give you some tips. There are a lot of tips that we women are masters in, So the only reason you don't like selling is because you're not winning. And if that's happening, it's just not going to make you happy. And I'll tell you, and the people like Walid and all who said they love selling, people who will start selling and will start winning will never stop selling. And I must tell you one more thing is selling is persuasion, it's negotiation. I mean, something simple like getting an investor on board for your company, something simple like getting your kids to clean their room is how you influence and persuade people. That's how it works. And why you're not probably getting is something like riding a cycle. You've just got to figure it out. I mean, I remember when I started my sales journey, I started it very, very early. I started when I was only 16 years old. To do that for just some extra pocket money. I would encourage everyone to be on mute. I won't be asking much questions. I'm using the chat more than speaking so that we can get more done. I started when I was only 16, trying to sell. Okay. And because I had to be able to figure it out, I used to read books and I used to watch videos. And then invariably, when I would still go in front of the customer trying to make that sale, something would go wrong. And 80% of what I had read or everything that I had made a note that I'm going to do during that meeting would not happen the way it was supposed to come out. And that's what we mean is it's about practice. It's about falling off that bike. It's about, holding hands and doing it. So once you figure it out, it's like a vampire who's just tasted the first drop of blood. You'll never stop. You'll never ever stop. It's just going to go deeper and deeper, and you'll be shocked how much you improve. It just grows on you, the skill. And this skill is something that can make you millions. If you're making millions, it can make you billions. So this is not a skill. I don't know why people take it for granted. I don't know why there are not enough practical sales trainers in the world. But I want to ask you one thing is, would you rather learn at the cost of being with your customer and figuring out the technique that you read or learned, which when you're at the cost of when you're with your customer, or would you rather use an accountability partner, someone you can practice with? So one tip I'll give you right now, and if you like it, guys, I would love it if all of you can apply it from today. You need to look through your entire customer journey in your mind before you meet the customer. Let me repeat that. This is very deep. Go through your entire sales process that you're going to go and meet someone and speak to someone for anything that you're positioning, even if it's just a partnership or even if it's anything that you want to do. Go through, practice the whole conversation in your mind or with, mind works to a certain extent, but ideally if you do it with a partner or an employee or a colleague or anything, you've got to go through the entire process in your mind. This will improve your winning rates by almost 50%. You already know what he's going to say. He's going to say expensive. He's going to say I have another vendor. I like that one. I don't care what you say. I don't like the way you look. I mean, you already know what all is going to eventually happen in that meeting, but it's just about challenging yourself, taking that extra time, run through the process in your mind, and this will change your entire trajectory. So I love to say that I'm not an academic person out here. I'm not an academic. I'm a real salesperson. So for me, everything has happened by practicing and speaking or talking in the car or talking in front of the mirror and things like that. And that's the opportunity I feel a sales expert needs. And if you guys are good in it, get better at it, this is what you need to do. And this is the breakthrough. And this is what I offer as a service for everyone that needs this breakthrough. Reading, watching YouTube videos doesn't give you everything done, but definitely anything done is worth it. So who's this here? Let me give you this one quickly. If you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, or a CEO, I love working with you guys because I say sales is not just about selling. It's about your strategy. It's about your sales strategy. It's about your go-to-market strategy. Who are you going to talk to? Who's your consultant? As sales people, you have very limited choices, but as business owners, the world is your oyster, right? But just something to measure for yourself if this is for you and if you belong in this room for the next 1 hour, 1.5 hours now. If you're paying more salary to your staff than what you take home yourself, it's not fair. If you quit your salaried job because you wanted to start a business, I know there are a few freelancers and a few solopreneurs out here. If your business is paying you less than what your job salary was, it's not worth it. You want to find a way how to make this decision that you took to quit your job and become a business owner worth it. If you can't figure it out, I tell you, go back to a job because not everybody is cut out for business. And again, if people who had businesses for 3, 5, and 10 years, but if your annual revenue is lesser than the past years, obviously I wouldn't look at 2020 as anybody's annual revenue. You should look at your highest year ever. And if you're not scaling up and going higher in your annual revenue, it's a degrowth. There's something called inflation. So guys, just, I like to quantify everything to a number. For me, anything and everything becomes a number. So I'm going to give you these tools to measure if you really are put yourself a number on a scale of 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. Are you on a 5? Are you on a 7? 10 being the highest? If you're under 5, you belong here. If you're not, maybe you're already doing something right. Again, for people who are looking for jobs, or even if you're just an employee, sales is the first one to get hired and the last one to get fired. Absolutely fair, because sales are the ones who gets revenue to any business. Why not, right? Again, if you're a startup or still thinking about starting a business, the world has changed. Everything's about design thinking. You need to first look at a customer-centric, foolproof business plan. A customer-centric, what are the needs? What is your problems you're solving? And then create automation. Automation is everything. I work with a forum called 10X CEOs, and everything we do is franchise ready and IPO ready. So you don't need to necessarily be a franchise, but everything you do should be system dependent so much that you don't need to be, if you can't take a 3-month holiday, you're doing something wrong. But your systems need to run, and that system goes in when you're a startup, not when you become a 5-year-old giant. Okay, so if you guys are here for this, say yes, it's for me in the chat. Are you guys ready? If you guys are ready, say yes in the chat. Let's hear it from you. Of course, yay. Thanks, Alithia. Thanks to the Hemant, Shrishta. Awesome. Okay, let me quickly tell you who's this not for, because there may be some people who are still not sure. If you're a kind of guy who thinks I know it all, you're right. You may know it all. Maybe you won't get anything much out of here. If you are looking for a get quick rich, there's no such thing. You've got to work smart, then hard, I agree, but you've got to put actions in. So that's the next point as well. If you're not going to put anything in action, you will not get any results. You may want to consider leaving, make better use of your time, because you may not get any much impact or results from that anyway. Again, if you're not the sort that invest in yourself, and I love you all because you've already invested time in yourself, and time is more valuable than money, I would always say. But if you're not the ones that invest in yourself, then time is much more valuable than money. So every human lives only 80 years. And this is deep. Most of us, or maybe more than half of us, have already lived half our lives. So the question is, if you continue doing what you've been doing with the rest of your life, the rest half, I mean, how far are you going to get? So is it all still here? If you guys are still here, you've got a yes already, let's go right in. So I've got a lot of content, so I don't like to spend time, so let's just all dive in. So who am I and why am I the one who's going to tell you this? And who am I and why am I? Why me is something you want to ask to your own businesses as well. This is called as a positioning matrix and a positioning statement. Who am I and why me? So whatever business or whatever company as an employee that you're in, these are the two killer questions that you want to ask, which will clarify the air about why should the customer choose you and why not someone else. So I'm going to tell you this about me since you're all here, but there will be nuggets that are coming all over. So if you guys are getting something, make notes and do be ready to share the diamond in the end. Okay. So that's me. I'm a global sales growth authority. I've been blessed to start at a very young age, and I've run numbers more than 100 million. I think it's crossed almost a lot more now, but yeah. But I started at a very early age, at the age of 16, like I said, just for the sake of some extra pocket money. And this actually opened up a few things for me. I realized that it was something that was giving me financial freedom. I could do school and college and everything and still have my own pocket money. So I'm going to come to that. And that's something that opened up for me so much. Today, I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at Rooftop Sales. I also own a franchise for the Middle East called 10X CEOs. Now, I'm going to come back to franchise when you talk about a company like McDonald's. You don't see Ray Kroc in any McDonald's. But then guess what? They say 90% of startups fail in the first 3 years. We've all heard that, right? But 71% of franchises succeed in the first year. So why reinvent the wheel? Just something to talk about. Sales is not just about working hard. It's also about working smart. Where can you find your next partnerships? Where can you find your collaborations? Where can you work in synergies with someone else? And that's what will take you leap fronts. So not doing everything ourselves is the best way always. You could work smarter than harder. Today, I love to help businesses win profitable clients. I love automating businesses. My mandate is to have 50% of your operation cost coming on an autopilot. Let me repeat that. 50% minimum of your operation cost means your cost of running whatever you're doing. Even if you're a salaried employee, guys, you need to start looking at 50% of your cost of living should come on an autopilot. What are you doing right? And what are you doing wrong? Have numbers to benchmark yourself. Are you on par? Are you a 5 and above on 10? Are you less than 5? I'm going to quantify everything, even if it is a soft skill or a double, or if it's a, even if it's a soft skill, quantify everything. So it brings me to my mission, which is talking about doubling everybody's revenue in the first year. And we don't take 2020 revenues as a benchmark. We take your highest ever year as a benchmark, and we double from there because that's the fun challenge, right? And we 10x in 5 years. And that's the commitment and that's the mission. So everything which we talk about is a sales blueprint. Would you all want to create a blueprint for your business where you double your revenue in 2021? Just double your customer revenue, all the revenue that you got. Obviously, we look at GPs and NPs as well, but would you all just want to double your top line? If you do, write double in the chat. Let's hear it from you guys. Let's see how many people are excited to double your revenue this year. Nobody? Triple, yeah, I love triple. So I love 10x as well, right? But yeah, double, Shrista, awesome, right? Brilliant. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, double, right? I mean, obviously, this is, And you've got to start working your numbers on based of that, right? So I've had 3 postgraduate degrees, super educated, very blessed. Um, Awarded by the Indian president. I love driving women leadership where we go today. And real estate has been my financial freedom mode, and I love it. So technology and hospitality and reading and traveling are my other interests. So this is where is 10x CEOs, and this is where we all start, and we get a lot of learning curve from. AE Clicks was the first company that I had started, which was a digital marketing company, which gives you a learning curve. You learn a bit. But when I thought about going into sales, the first thing that came to mind was online. And you've got to start figuring out how online works. Global Entrepreneur Exchange is a forum by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. It's about getting and shaking hands with the right mentors. These are guys who work with Samsung, IKEA, Gucci, Tata's, huge clients, and working on like billion-dollar companies, really. And when you get learning curve from companies like that, you know where you're heading is in the right direction. And you want to make sure you're applying the best practices of the global best companies. And for that, you want to have association with companies like that. And that's what changes your entire trajectory. So partnerships is the key thing, and franchises is another key thing where you don't want to reinvent every learning curve that someone else has already worked on. So ask yourself for a quick second, have you ever got partnerships? How many of you have never had any partnerships? And how many have had partnerships ever? And has that made you any money? Let's have a quick second and reflect on this one. Who's here to share? I mean, you can just type in the chat so that we have more time for everything that we want to do. Anybody has had it before? I've had, yeah, Rajesh, awesome. Come on, let's quickly hear from everyone. Awesome. Nobody else wants to share, so let's go on. Okay, a quick disclaimer for you guys. Whatever I'm going to share is not rocket science. I've not reinvented anything. It's not, if I could do it, anybody can do it, okay? But I would say one thing, that everybody is born with a quest, because of which is a drive based on your life situations, which takes you to a journey towards a certain direction, okay? And this is what something happens because of which you take interest in some particular field. Some of you could be into technology, some of you could be into soft skills, some of you could be into, but there's a certain direction your life takes because of a certain quest that you're born with. For me, how it began is in the 1990s, when pagers were the game. I'm not sure, I hope people know what a pager was, but that was the time when we all used to have pagers. And then mobile phones were pretty much just launched that time. So what worked for me is I got my freelance sales commission only sort of a job to sell SIM cards. So I got an opportunity to go and sell SIM cards. But what I learned this time is there's only 2 reasons why people buy. And this is very important. I mean, people go away from pain, or then people are going towards a pleasure. So there's only 2 reasons which inculcates a desire for someone to give you money from his pocket and make a purchase. Okay, so basically, even if you're a life insurance policy who is taking you away from pain and you're just planning towards something that so that you don't get pain later in the future, or you could be a Rolex where people are buying your product because of a certain pleasure that you're offering. So what are you? Are you a painkiller or a vitamin? Let's hear it from you in the chat. What are you?
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head.
Are you a painkiller or a vitamin?
I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh, ooh, the way that things have been.
Oh. Nice. We have some 2 timing daters. Nice. So this is important for you to understand, because your sales strategy and your pitch can depend if you're a painkiller or a vitamin. Nothing is better or worse, but of course painkillers sell faster than vitamins, but they both have a strategy and they both products that can sell. So this is where I started my journey, where I could, so while my friends were still like, enjoying themselves and partying or studying for all you care, right? And I was like out on the streets trying to find someone who could buy an extra SIM card from me. But one thing I must tell you is the reason I was looking for pocket money was probably because I was going towards pleasure. I was not running away from pain. I probably just wanted that extra second movie allowed in the month, or allowance for the lunch outing, or the plan that their friends were making, and not have to justify to my parents all the time. So it started from something so innocent, but I was definitely going towards pleasure. But one thing was different was the people who were buying SIM cards were not from my income bracket of where my family came from. So we were from the middle, sort of an average class sort of a family income bracket, right? So this is what you call today as high ticket selling. So how do you go into a segment which is not your income bracket, but go and tell them, and so of course people would be like, not every time do you get through, and it can be quite painful many times, right? So it started very rough and tough. And then when I moved to Dubai, this was after a couple of sales jobs that I did, what I learned something called as an accelerated commission. Has anyone heard of an accelerated commission? Yes or no in the chat. Let's see who knows it. Anyone heard of something called as an accelerated commission? No, Alifia, no, Rajesh, no, Shrishta, no. Come on, anybody else? Nobody's heard of an accelerated commission? Walid knows, yeah. So an accelerated commission is something which you guys need to start looking at. So as salespeople, when you get into jobs, you have a target. All salespeople are driven by targets, and you achieve your target. So if your target is 100 and you achieve 100, you get, say, 100 dirhams from your company, right? But when your target is 100 and you start achieving 120, for the balance 20, you get a multiplier commission. So for up to 100, say you get a 1 for a 1, but the balance from 101 to 120, you start now getting a higher number. Like you would get, say, 20% extra or 120% and things like that. And that's when the multiplier starts kicking in. So when my company was acquired by NTT, which was a Docomo, Tata Docomo and things like that, uh, they had something called as an accelerating. This is what changed my life, like literally, like life just completely changed. And after that came a phase where you would rather take an accelerated commission instead of taking a bonus. A bonus is the manager level person. So if you become a sales manager, you get a bonus. A bonus is on an average one salary extra or two salaries at most. Every multinational, any company, small, big, gets one or two salaries extra as a bonus. But as an accelerated commission, you can really kill it. Like you're the one. Everything is in your control. So I think if I was just on a salary, I would have never been able to really accumulate sort of wealth. But imagine, I want to tell you business owners out there, like as a salesperson, if I was only getting that percentage, how much NTT would be getting, like Docomo, how much NTT Docomo would be making. Like imagine, right? And it's amazing, then you just don't need, this is your face, right? I mean, who cares what your manager is saying? Who cares if you're told to come to the office? Who cares, right? I mean, you want me, you tell me, and that's what it is. So who wants a face like this? And this is liberating. So when you start the art of selling, you will never stop. And that's what I want to just tell you. Have you ever heard people saying salespeople are arrogant? Anyone's heard salespeople are arrogant? Anybody feels salespeople are arrogant? Arrogant? If arrogant, if you think, then say yes, or say arrogant. No? Okay, awesome. Irfan thinks yes. Rajesh thinks salespeople are arrogant. I mean, yeah, the good ones are, right? That's the point. Because when you just don't want to, you figure out things so well and so fast, and it's going to start coming, right? And you're bringing the number in. The best thing that I loved about it was always black and white. Like you can't say I'm working too hard and then your number doesn't show. So, But the most important thing about this was When I started getting these accelerated commissions, I started investing into something called as real estate. And in Dubai, we get real estate, right? But it was when you pay those down payments, it's very risky. Okay, it's very risky because if you don't make it for your next installment, they would take everything out, and it was very stressful. So I had to make sure I'm selling faster. I had to make sure I was selling better. It had to be profitable because if you're making loss deals or very small margin, you don't get no accelerated. I mean, they always have a top line and you have a GP. So for you business owners, when you're setting KPIs for your sales teams, understand what I'm saying. This is not just something that I'm sharing. This is something that you want to apply because it drives your teams, right? So you have to be profitable, but I also had to be predictable because guess what? If my numbers slipped, Dubai, right? They would not return a single dime. Everything would be lost. So can you afford that? And we don't take loans because we're Muslims. So we don't work on mortgages, but everything depends on your top line and you need to make it happen. But it has to be also consistent because until you pay that out, you don't have a choice. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Can you understand the stress I could have probably been going through? There were sleepless nights many times, and then Zig Ziglar books became my best buddies for to figure things out. And like I said, every time I would make so many notes, but when I would go in front of that customer, I would get cold feet, like literally. And I must tell you one more thing, that sales can be the most stressful job in the world because you can be the best salesperson in 2019. Start January 2020, you are zero again. You've got to start performing all over again. Getting it? You could be the top one in the first quarter, but every next month and every next quarter starts with a zero again. So you've got to start all over again. So you're always performing, you're always on the run. You can't sit on your past laurels, and everything is transparent and black and white. Okay, so this is what is important. And for you business owners, I would tell you one thing. Behave like you're on a bloody job. Because if you don't get your number, you get fired. Okay, so I don't understand how business owners say, oh, business affected, sitting, waiting, changing. What hell? I mean, stop being a part of an excuse. You've got to start behaving like you are getting fired if you're not going to deliver. So we're not losing a number. So I want every one of you, just take a second, put the number that you want to do this year, 2021, and there's going to be no excuses after this point. How you do it is the next question that we want to answer, but put the damn number because unless you get the number out, nothing goes forward. Let me give you a second because I want each and every one of you say, I've got the number. Say yes in the chat because if you're not getting the number, we're not doing some fancy show out here. We all want to come out with a breakthrough today. Let's say a yes if you want to share. Tell me the number or say yes.
Second, don't you tell me what you think that I can be. I'm the one at the sail, I'm the master of my CEO. Ooh, the master of my CEO.
People have a number, the rest need to leave.
I was broken from a young age, taking my soak into the masses, writing my poems for the few that look at me, took me, shook me, feeling me, singing from heartache, from the pain, taking my message from the veins, speaking my lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the. Hey, you made me a believer, believer. Hey, you made me down, you made me a believer, believer. Hey.
100 million, awesome, I love it. Awesome, great. So now that we all have a number and we're all here to make it happen, that's the next questions because everything falls in place from this point. Okay, so I do believe, I am unstoppable today and there's no two ways about it, but it took me 20 years of toil, hard work, focus, reading, learning, applying to get me where I am. I want to ask you, what is your quest? What do you do for a living? What is your biggest challenge right now? Which industry are you in? Are you in a service industry? Are you in a product industry? Tell me, just type in the chat, what do you do for a living? And what is your biggest challenge to get the number that you've promised yourself right now? Because from here, I'm getting into the sales process. So tell me in the chat quickly, guys, what's your biggest challenge and what industry are you in? So then we know what we want to talk about. Are we talking about insurances? Are we talking about products? Are we talking about services? Hospitality industry, I love it. Lakshmi. Oh, Lakshmi, okay. Srishta, marketing, IT, nice, Irfan, welcome on board. And what's your biggest challenge quickly? Service industry events, nice, Rajesh. Engineering, beautiful. Management consultancy, service tech, awesome, brilliant. So I get an idea where we are all from. Business aviation, I love private jets. I'm gonna get mine. Okay, so what do you think is the secret sauce to succeed in sales? So let's type in the chat quickly. What do you think is the secret sauce to succeed in sales? Walid, you're giving me personal chats in case you're wanting to type to everyone. You can select the everyone tab. So what do you think, guys, is the secret sauce to succeed in sales? Type in the chat. What do you think is the most important thing you need? Stay put there and build relations. Build relations is the key word. Yeah, I like that. Relationship, awesome. Communication, awesome. Getting in touch with potential customers direct, awesome. Getting the right potential customers. From my experience, the secret sauce in selling has been the why. The drive why you want that sale to happen, why you want it so bad. And why I say this is, so why do you do what you do? Okay, so for me, when I started, my entire drive became the want and the need to not have to ask anybody else for money. Like literally, So for me, my entire drive became the financial independence, that freedom that it was bringing. And that is what happened. So what is your why? Why is it so important for you to get that extra revenue? Why are you in this room at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the night? Why? What is driving you to want that extra business for yourself? What is it? And that is extremely important. I want to take you all, every one of you, just take that 1 minute to understand why is it so important. And why you need that is because people are damn negative. It's going to take 7 no's to get 1 yes. You're going to need to be thick-skinned. And this is sales. Sales is, people say sales is rejections, but normally your rate of rejection lowers and reduces every time that you keep going and going. You just keep doing and you just keep getting on it. Eventually, it just comes to selecting your prospect better so that you reduce your rejections. And that's why salespeople start looking arrogant. But guess what? They don't have time to kill. They don't want to waste time with potential prospects who probably are going to just not, it's going to take an extra 2 days to you to say yes, then sorry, you're not worth my time. So we bid to win. And that's what I love to say. So we bid to win. We take 80% of the deals that we quote. And who wants to bid to win? If you want to bid to win, say bid to win. And say no is my vitamin. Because from here, everybody who said I don't like selling, guys, you go deeper and see why you want to get that extra sale. Once you understand that, you will not get hurt anymore. That rejection will not affect you so much. Yeah, thanks. Let's have bid to win from everyone, or say no is my vitamin for people who don't like sales. And the others who like sales or whatever, just say bid to win. And this is what we are trying to send a message to your subconscious as well out here. Because that's what you're going to do. We bid to win. We don't have time to waste with people who are saying, how do we select the right audience and go and position our product to the right people where our chances of getting rejections is low, very low. Agreed, everyone with me? So let's dive in now. So I'm coming now to something which is called as a sales process. This is very important. Thanks, Olivia, for saying bid to win. How do you develop rapport? Remember one thing quickly is people do not buy products or services. Let me repeat. Nobody buys products or services. People buy from people. People buy from a friend. Have you ever bought something from someone you know at a higher price than what you would have got elsewhere? Anyone who's never done that? Everybody, all of us buy from people. So when the value starts going higher, of course, if it's a chewing gum, you're just going to pick it up, right? But as the value starts going higher, you're going to start buying from people that you know and that you have a rapport with. Okay, and there are 3 levels of rapport building, which we get into deeper and stuff like that. And what are the tricks of the trade to do that? But you need to just take away right now one thing, that people buy from friends and people buy from people. Okay. Second, how do you schedule meetings with decision makers? This is like the killer, right? Because half the time they're talking to the purchase or the receptionist and someone comes, meets the finance controller and takes the deal. Sometimes you're talking to the CEO, but still someone comes and meets the finance controller, closes the deals and takes it. Sometimes you could be talking to the CEO, someone meets the IT manager and takes the deal and takes it away. Felt it? Experienced this? Anyone? This is crucial, right, Alessia? Yeah, so how do you schedule? How do you get to the right decision maker? What do you do different? And 100% of the people in the world have this wrong. They think they can go talk to the receptionist, become a friend, build a rapport, and then she will one day connect you to the CEO. Never happens. Confuse the receptionist, never happens, Lakshmi. I like to go right to the top and then make him tell you to talk to the finance, or make the top guy talk to. But how do you go right to the top? And that's worth the time. So if I know I'm not talking to the decision maker, I never send a quotation. So it's going to come to the next one, which is if you're working on a deal for 3 months, and then, what do you mean you're not the decision maker? Anyone's had that face? I've had it a million times, I must tell you that. Anyone's ever had this face that you're working on a deal for like a while, and then he just comes and says, frustrating, yeah? So how can you improve that? How can you make sure that doesn't happen with you ever again? And there are a few insights you will keep getting in every deal. And as you keep doing more, you will figure out, even if it's just a VC that you're looking to get funding from, or even if it's a partnership or a collaboration deal that you're trying to negotiate or bring up to. Tomorrow I'm doing a session for job hunts and how you can use sales into job hunting, right? So if there are any employees who are struggling with finding jobs, I'll give you the link in the end or something. So you can come and join that one. So how sales can be used into job hunting. And everybody is doing job hunting wrong as well. So how do you send, I'm going to come to this. This is like a lot of deep topics, but this is important. These are important things, right? How do you send networking emails that prospects cannot ignore? You go to an event, a GITEX or, anything, and you will meet 10,000 people, and everybody meets 10,000 people. You come back with a pile of business cards. Next day, what do? Hello, my company is this. I do this. I have so many countries, so many technical stuff, my advantages, my best features. These are my pictures. These are my brochures, my website, my LinkedIn, my. And he's going to be like, do you think they read it? Bullshit. This is the last way you're going to get anything out of that. So even if you went to a networking event and you came back with a bundle of cards, you're just wasting your time by sending those emails. Does not work. All wrong. Everybody is doing a few things. If you just correct, your chances of your sales chances will improve like drastically. Then we finally come to a sales presentation. Now I must tell you one thing, that if this is an order, it's not just some random list that are put together. So if you've not built a friend, if you're not talking to the right decision maker, you do not do a sales presentation. A sales presentation is where you make the offer, where you talk about what your product is and stuff like that. You want to spend, why? So normally a sales is like a triangle, right? And people say I spend a lot of time in closing and following up and things like that. But if you're spending time in closing and following up, you've already missed something in the start. You've probably not identified your prospect correctly. You've probably not met the right person. You've probably not qualified the need of that prospect. You've probably not made him realize that he needs your product so much that he will even take a loan to get on board with you. And until you get him into that mindset, you never do a quotation. I mean, there are some quotation junkies who just go meet, call, quote. Meet, call, quote. Seen someone like that? Any of you is like that? We don't send quotations until we know that I'm going to take the deal at least 70%. So all the qualification needs to get done on the phone. What are the things you say? I don't even meet people until I know he's going to give me my deal. Or at least he's 50-60%. It's not worth my time. So when I was with Samsung earlier, we used to have an annual target of $46 million initially. So it was almost like 3 million a month. So literally we used to do 1 million a week. And the last week was to make sure money is in, products are out of the warehouse, because that's the only time you get counted. And our salaries were 60% that we get as a salary. So if my salary is 100, I only get 60%. 40% would come if I achieve my targets. So literally, who wants to take 50-60% home? I mean, is it even worth working? Like, really? So it was very important that you make that number happen. And that's how the whole thing, and doing a million was not something I would do a million meetings for. It's about making sure every meeting that we do is worth at least sizable number. And how do you do leverage time with relationships, with partnerships, with channels, and how do you make it all happen? And that's how it is. But when we actually achieved the number, the Koreans thought there was something wrong from the first place. And then they increased the target next year to 56 million. I mean, seriously, from 47 to 56, like, what are you thinking? Like, it's not like 2 million going to 3 million or something, but they just don't want to make sure that nobody's taking the full salary home, right? And that's how it is. But then what do? You come back to your slate and you work out a go-to-market strategy and you make it happen, because obviously nobody wants to take less home, right? So the most important thing here is the follow-up. Okay. And how many times do you follow up? Do you all want to tell me how many times do you follow up with your customers? How many times do you follow up? So what happens is, after you've done your sales presentation and after you send them that quotation, customers just stop taking your calls. Does that happen? Anyone? Like, now they've got the price. Now he'll just not answer your calls. You'll be calling, and he'll block you. Oh my goodness, will he block my number? Awesome. I mean, do you want to look like that person who's calling and feeling disrespectful? Like, nobody's ever, how many times do you guys follow up to get a deal, to close your deal? Nobody follows up? Audience? Hello? Knock, knock. Anyone follows up? Many times? Thanks, always for answering. Every 3 days, but how many times? Rest, how many times? Number. We're into a sales workshop. We want only numbers. 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, 12 times, 100 times, twice at least you follow up, yeah? Awesome. So research says, and I already did an average customer says no 7 times to say a yes. There's only 1% of sales that happen, less than 1% that happen in the first meeting. There's only 2% of sales that happen in the first 3 meetings. And the fantastic thing is 70% of salespeople stop following after the second follow-up. But 72% of sales happen in the 4th follow-up. And 80% of sales happen in the 5th follow-up. The reason why people don't do follow-up is because they don't know what to say. Like, I already called him last week. I talked about the weather. I talked about his kids. Now, what do I call and say, man? I mean, what do I say? And 90% of the times people stop following up because they are out of ideas of what to say. So as a part of our program, what we do is we give you scripts for everything. We give you ready-made scripts. So like, for example, right from rapport building, like how do you qualify the need? And I give you checklists. And how cool would that be, right? I mean, how do you schedule meetings with decision makers? What do you say on the phone? What do you say when you're meeting them for the second time? What do you send in your emails? What do you say exactly in a sales presentation? What not to say? I mean, how much are you talking? What exactly the script for at least 12 follow-ups we give you. We give you everything like scripted, like you just read. You just memorize it, you just read, you sort it, So like your success rate just really doubles. How do you close more deals without using discounts? Now that's what we want to understand, right? But I always say, if you're just going to give discount, why do you need a salesperson? Your price will sell anyway, correct? Like if you're just going to give discount, what do you need to do anyway? Just reduce your price and that's it, finished. But how do you position value rather than price? How do you create that need and how do you create that? So, one thing I love about business owners or people who have decision making authority in your positions is how to create that sales presentation which nobody will say no to. It's addressing the problem, it's addressing the need of that audience so perfectly that nobody will say ever no to. Your chances of closing become so high when you pick that package. And today, everything is about a package. And that happens with the pricing strategies and stuff like that. So when you can work on your pricing strategies, it's brilliant. So I always say, don't just work about how to say, what to say. Let's work on your entire go-to-market strategy. That is so powerful. And that is when the double becomes. If you're just going to work on only your sales, you'll never be able to do 10x and double. It's all about how do you get partnerships, how do you do your entire go-to-market strategy, and that's where you want to get challenged, and that's where you want to have someone to partner with. And then again, how do you ask referrals? And because obviously once you get a customer, you want to keep getting, and once you do everything right of the sales process, that's the face you're going to carry. Who wants a face like that? Who wants a face like that? Say yay, say I. Say I in the chat. Come on, who wants a face like that? Where your deals are just coming and you're like, you don't even know, you don't even expect, but yeah, it's just coming in. He's so cute, I agree. Hi, yeah, thanks Rajesh, thanks guys. I hope you guys are understanding and getting value out of this one, but this is everything. And if you can just reduce that time to close the deal that you're getting and things like that, things will just open up for you. So let me ask you this poll. This is a poll I'm going to invite you all to answer. Okay, just select one. What do you think is the most important skill for great salespeople? Closing, open-ended questions, prospecting or lead generation, objection handling, or rapport building? So we've covered a few of it, but what do you think is the most important skill? Objection handling, building rapport, closing, open-ended questions, prospecting. Come on, everyone, pick one. And I'm going to show you the result, what comes. So going 2, going 3, last second. Come on, if you've not answered, pick anyone. And I'm going to share the results with you now. Select on the poll, Shrishta. Okay, awesome. Let me share it now. Share results. Can you all see the screen? The result of the poll? So we've got 3 votes for building rapport and closing. We've got 1 for prospecting and 2 for objection handling. So the biggest winners from this group is closing and building rapport. Definitely building rapport, because if you don't make a friend, nobody's going to buy from you. At least if you have a decent value product. So first thing you want to focus is on building a friend across the table. Closing, I already said, if you're following up and closing too much, you've done something wrong in the starting of your sales cycle. So you've probably not identified your customer correctly. You've probably not qualified his need. Like, does he really have the need? Sometimes people have a need, but sometimes people don't know that they have the need. I'm going to repeat that for a second. People have the need for your product. You know that your product will go to him and it's something that he needs, but he probably does not have it on a surface level. So when we share open-ended questions, you generate the need for him to understand that he needs what you have. And that's the whole thing. But if you've done something wrong and you're spending time in closing, you've already missed your cycle. You don't beg for business. Arrogant, aggressive salespeople put the gun on their head and take your deal. If that's what you want to be, that's what I can teach you to do. But we don't beg for business. So we don't spend time on follow-up and closing. We do the right thing. We position the product so strong and so hard that it's going to eventually convert, because we bid to win. We don't spend too much time and effort on closing. Next comes objection handling. Yeah, same thing, objection handling. There's a thing about pre-setting objections. You know that he's going to say that. And in your sales pitch and in your sales presentation, you need to put those objections beforehand inside. For that, I give you scripts about how you do it. But that's not the right answer. The right answer is prospecting and lead generation. If you don't have a brand new funnel, who do you rapport build with? Someone that you already are talking to for the last 3 years? Sorry. That's the first story that I gave you all. You've got to get brand new people in your funnel. If you don't get if you keep on talking to the same people you've been talking last 3 years, it's about getting out of your comfort zone. Are you ready to go to Africa? I mean, okay, so I hope you guys have an aha with this. So everything about sales, and especially in this time of COVID, believe me, from my personal experience, and there are some people here from the IT tech industry, people have answered phones like they've never answered before. People in Nakhil, MR, these guys are answering calls on the third ring. I mean, everyone is looking for a value engineered brand new solution to see how they can refit their existing. It's the best times ever for prospecting. People who never got time to answer calls ever before are doing it today. So if you're not doing it, like in this room, I barely know anybody. That's what I'm talking about. How do you go? What is your go-to market strategy to get, what is your funnel to get to a brand new? You get it? Yeah, Rajesh, awesome. You were the one who said that? Awesome, Rajesh, awesome, well done. So let me show you this one. Enterprise Vishal.
I would like to say a few things about this course that we've been attending today for 8 hours, which seems to have gone as if it was 2 hours. I essentially came to learn how Olivia was facilitating the content of the course. The main thing I've taken out of this is that my knowledge is nowhere near great enough to be able to facilitate such a lecture, if you wish. I need to learn lots more, and I'm going to have to employ Olivia on several more occasions for the rest of my team, because I'm incapable of facilitating it myself. It's that depth. The knowledge was fantastic. I was asked what I took out of the course. I was asked 3 things. I think, like my profession, a tennis coach is a very honourable profession, and we touch many people's lives. I think salespeople do exactly the same thing. So I was very heartened to hear that Olivia thought that just being a salesperson, please take out the word just, is a very honourable profession also. I think it's essential that every single one of my employees has and will put together an elevator statement that is learned by heart, so they're not umming and ahhing when they ask what they do and how their company can help our customers. It was a great day. I hope my colleague learned a lot from it also, and I'd like to thank Olivia and her husband for making us very welcome, and I'm sure we'll be doing some business again in the future.
So CF Tennis is actually, they have tennis academy, and they are the ones that do the Australian Opens and the Dubai duty free tennis, where they get Roger Federer and all that to Dubai, and they host them here every year, literally. And he has actually 50 plus tennis coaches. And when he came for this workshop, his question initially, when they did the initial introductions, was very interesting. He was like, my top performing sales tennis coach is getting $1 million dirhams in the year as coaching fees. But the second highest performing coach is only getting $500,000. And 80% of his coaches are getting 200 odd thousand. So what is this guy doing different? And he was like, guess what, Olivia? If all my tennis coaches start getting $1 million, how rich will I get? And that was like, oh, think about it, right? I mean, what is he doing different? And why is he killing it like that? So after he went back, he said, you know what, come back, tell my top C-levels how and what, because he was trying to apply a few things from the training, and this is awesome, right? I mean, and that's what great leaders do. You invest in your team, and the team takes you where you need to go, right? So he got it for the top level people. And then after a week, he also got us on board with all his tennis coaches. And he said, you know what, give them all the damn pitches and give them the scripts and let them say the right thing. And he said, let them all learn the elevator pitch and let them all say the damn right thing in the first 30 seconds and not waste another effort, another attempt at getting the right brief from his customers. And that's what eventually happened. And even in the COVID, they did some super nice things, and I'm so proud of them. But sales is a game of numbers. Let's not take stress out of this thing. It is fulfilling and very, very rewarding. This is one skill. If you get and improve, even if you're good at sales, believe me, you'll get so many breakthroughs. I mean, you just need to reinvest in this one because money is something that you don't want to take for granted. Okay. So I want to ask you again now, do you agree sales can become more revenue? And does more revenue mean more income for you? And what does more income mean for you? What will open up for you when you have that extra money and that extra income from that extra results and extra sales that you do? So I've got, this is my favorite slide in the entire PowerPoint. When Bill Gates says that when I was young, I thought money and power would make me happy. I was right. So who doesn't want money? If you want money, more money, type money in the chat. Let's hear it from each and every one of you here. Come on, guys, let's hear it from all of you. Who wants more money? No one? Oh, yeah, we've got a few. Okay, exciting. Yeah, money, money, money. Money is more honey. Now, I want to share something that I put together for you guys. And just take me the next 10-15 minutes, and then we open for questions. And if you don't mind, I'd love to share something that you can do. And we know people are busy and, you know, you want to go deep to a certain level and you can go deep to a much more level. But in 3 crisp days, we can put together a few things that you can take and run with. Like, let's take control of this year and put a few things together. So would you mind if I share this? Let's have a yes if you guys are okay. If you're okay to share, let's hear it from each and every one of you. Yeah, Shrishta, thanks. Yeah, Rajesh, Shrishta, Waleed, thanks. Josh, yeah, cool. Awesome. So let's take it from here. So what we have is, our mission is to help businesses win profitable clients. I love the song, I love it too. And consistently. It's important to win clients and win them consistently so that you can get the stress-free time that you actually deserve. Certain amount of revenue coming in can only make you more relaxed in life for anything, even whether it's a sales revenue or whatever, investment revenue or whatever, but that's what you want to work towards. How can you make your sales revenue consistent and profitable and predictable as well? Every month, we don't have a single month that we miss and we slip. And we want to automate your businesses by even getting your teams in place. Now, one thing I like to do is, we do a little bit of your self-check in our programs that we do, where you identify your core strengths. And everyone has some part, one form of the sales funnel will be your core strength. There's no person in the world who does not have even a single core strength from all the steps of the sales funnel. You probably are very good in closing. Someone could be very good in presenting the middle part. So when we identify that for you and then we generate your teams, you want to identify key people in your teams which can be held accountable. But one thing I'll tell you about rapport building, if you don't get engaged with your end customer, your salespeople, if you're only depending on your salespeople, they will take your customer and leave. Let me repeat this. Rapport building from any form. So if you try to do rapport building with open prospecting at that lead generation level and you're not good at it, you don't need to do that. But at some part of your sales cycle, if you're not having that direct contact with your customer, only because, I'll tell you why people don't have that direct contact at all with their customer, because they don't know what to say and they don't know what to do. And most of the times they feel awkward. And so basically how you can overcome this is by practicing, and by practicing it with an accountability partner or someone in a breakout room, if you will, right, on a sales training. So when you do that, one part of your customer you need to meet, and you cannot, as business owners or even as employees, go about with something which is never done at all. So I put this thing together in 3 days. It's very, very proactively done, and I've tried to shorten the entire attention in this little thing and make it much more fun and make it as a game of numbers, which we all enjoy. The most important day, in my opinion, is the first day, because I love working on go-to-market strategies. I just love working on presentations that you offer. When you create those packages, you create those offers, which nobody can say no to. So the day one is super duper powerful. It goes right up to your strategy, what you're going to say, everything's on your mind first. So even before you meet your customer, you work on your blueprint, on your numbers. The second day is everything you do when you're with your customer. So what do you say? How do you open the meeting? What do you do when you're with him? And the last one is after you do your sales presentation and he stops answering your calls. So what do you do that time? Post sales, to make sure you're able to follow up, to make sure you're bringing the deal home, and to make sure you're getting referrals and repeat business from that customer. How can you do one sale and never look for a new sale ever again? Like, it just keeps coming, and he becomes your raving fan, and he becomes your, what does it take to have something like that? Because when I talk about automating your business, a certain percentage of your revenue should come on an autopilot. It should come from maintenances, or it should come from recurring revenues, or there has to be, if this layer is missing, guys, shut down your damn companies. Shut down, really just shut down. If you don't have some sort of things that is coming on an autopilot, you really don't deserve to do. You just, seriously, I mean, sales is like, we don't miss targets. I can call it arrogant, call it whatever. We just never lose a number. When we agree on a number, we make it happen. And how you can make it happen while you're on a beach. That's what we want to do, right? That's automating and autopiloting your business. So I'm going to challenge you a lot to think about things that, make life easy for us salespeople, right? Because obviously, if I was working for every million that I would get for Samsung, I would die. Like, I had to get something that was coming automated for myself as well as a salesperson. So the first day is about targets, KPIs. How do you set it? How do you incentivize your team? What is your pricing strategy? When people ask you for discounts, why do you say yes? I mean, you probably say yes because you're not convinced that your price is right. But when you go to this exercise of that positioning matrix and understand exactly what's the gap, what others are doing, you need not be the most expensive product. You can also be a McDonald's. But from a McDonald's, you don't give a discount then. I mean, come on. Some people can have a discount strategy. So I used to have a time when, because I'm not technical and I used to be in a technology sales product world, I would love to just double my selling price. Like, sometimes you don't have the patience to wait for the technical team to give you the costing so that you can go and price it, right? So I would just double it. So if I know my estimate is around 100, 200, I would just go give 200 before the quotation comes and then give a 50% discount. So it works, right? But how do you go and put value and not look like a thief and still do that, right? So it's about the elevator pitch. It's about your competition analysis. It's about scripts. Everything is about scripts. I give you ready-made scripts for everything. When you're doing cold calling, sometimes you can get other people in your team. When you have a script, it's very easy to leverage and get other people to do a few things as well. Even freelancers, if you will. Second day is when you're with your customer. How do you prospect? How do you check the problem? How do you make him realize that he has a need of what you're giving? And how do you build that rapport? How do you become a friend with every stranger that you meet? I mean, how do you just become a friend with everybody that you meet, right? I mean, some people are just not that social or extroverts, or, stories, 100% of sales decisions are made emotionally. And stories is the way to emotionally connect with your audience. How many stories did I tell you today? If I would not have told you all the stories for every sales process, you would have not taken away so much. You will remember some of the content of this only because of the amount of stories that were given to you. So think about it. So how can you, so in the workshop, you actually put stories of your own product line into every into every. So I actually also do a full 3-month training for only story selling, where each and every cycle of your sales process, you only sit and think what stories you can give. Some can be your own, some can be your customers, some can be your competition, some can be anything, but you need to start putting stories into your sales pitches. And that's what is something that you will never get better. I mean, once you do this, nobody will defeat you. You'll become undefeatable. Blocking objections and sales offers. Sales offers is extremely key and extremely important. What do you do post presentation? Overcoming objections. How do you negotiate with your customers? How do you convince them to change their mind? I mean, it's not about selling ice to an Eskimo, but how do you change their mind? It's fun to do that. There was a time when I used to be in working, and easy deals are just so boring for good salespeople. Like, it feels like an admin job, when orders are just coming in, what the hell? So then you go to Jumeirah when they say, you know what, we never buy your company. And I say, oh, yeah, really? Yeah. So let's see how we can break that. And that's what makes it fun. So, that sort of a thing. So how do you persuade and change? Because that's what keeps the challenge up, and that's what keeps you fun. Upselling and cross-selling. And this is everything that we focus on the third day. The third day is about your top line, about how do you automate and make some things easy. Some work is already done in your second day when you actually met with the customer. And the third day is about leveraging, about making the most out of that time and effort that you already gave in. Great. So that's what it is. Usually, each of this can be a full, separate, independent training. Usually, it's $197. It's not very expensive. We're still a startup. So, guys, make the most of it. We're hardly $590 for the whole thing, which we normally sell as individual packages. But what we also give you is ready-made checklist. Exactly what to do. Before a call, what do you do when you're in your first meeting? And then after your meeting, you come out and you check, did I do this? Did I do this? Did I do this? For me, my first few meetings, I would have done only 10% of what I was supposed to do. But once this checklist, for my current customers that we have worked with us now, they find it so useful. It's like, read 10 books, but put it all in one page for me, 10 points. You never miss it. So you will miss it in the first few meetings, but eventually you will start doing 7 out of 10. Eventually you'll do 8 in every meeting. And that's what you want to get to, right? Scripts. What do you say when you're introducing yourself? What do you say when you're second and third call or follow-up? What do you call after your presentation? That's your third one, which is follow-up. So after you did your sales presentation, how do you keep making it interesting for him to keep talking to you? Negotiation and closing. So when you think you're not being able to close, what is important in the closing stage is you want to go back to the lead generation that you did in the first step. So in the pre-qualification that you did in the first step, in the closing stage, you have to remind him all the things he said he needed your product for. And if you can't do that, you're not going to be able to close. So the bonus number 3 and 4 is anything and everything about sales. This one, normally salespeople, they just keep talking. But you can't talk in a sales. If you're a salesperson, you're supposed to be listening. But if you're talking, you're doing something wrong. So you're only supposed to be talking 20% of the time in your meeting. But how do you keep listening? How do you keep it exciting? How do you keep asking him to give you everything about his life story and you not talking? How does that happen? Everything is in this 6 powerful questions. If I don't get answers to these 6 questions, no quotation goes from me, period. I don't get answers to these 6 questions. And if you only practice these 6 questions, you will win at least 60% extra of your deals that you work in. This is a killer. It's just about questions, but what are those questions? If you don't get these answers, you don't do anything. And then closing. When you're closing, you need to remind him of these questions that he answered once upon a time, 3 months back or 2 months back. You need to remind him. So let me give you an example what I mean. You may be talking to the purchase manager, for example. He wants to shine. He wants to look good in front of his boss. He probably wants to get, if you're talking to a technical person, there's some need that they probably have. He wants to look like he solved a problem for the cheapest price. There's a need, every single person, employee or anything. And unless you address that need of that person, and until you identify that need on an emotional level, you don't build the rapport. I hope you're getting something out here. This is a very, very key thing. This is a part of the main workshop, but I am giving it to you all right now. So if you can't connect with him, when you can't expose that need on an emotional level from the buyer, that deal, first of all, that rapport will only not build. So that rapport, why, when someone opens up that why he needs that thing to be that price, or why he's looking at competition, or what has he considered? If you don't ask those opening questions and get an answer to each and every one of them, you can send your quotations, you're not going to close it. Your chances to close that one without those questions answered is hardly 30% or 40%. But how do you increase it to 70%? It's just by these two slides. The bonus 3 and 4 is a life changer. If you just, and we practice this one at length in the workshop that we do. So it's not an academic workshop. You're pretty much writing your scripts. So even when I give you ready scripts, you're customizing it to your product lines. You're customizing it to your systems, your whatever services that you're in. And then you practice that and you say it with other people and you hear other people talking. So it's so powerful. Things just open up and it's not anything academic. So the next bonus is also extremely important. You already know what your customer is going to say, your objections. But why can't we prepare our script beforehand? If you know he's going to say it's too expensive. These are only 6 objections in the world anyone will ever give you. So when you know that these are going to be the objections, prepare it, practice it. So these are templates that are proven repeatedly, and then you further customize it to your own product and your own services, and then you further practice it with others. So, you know, we just have role plays all the time saying, oh, I can't afford it. And then you're going to read your script and then you memorize the script. That's what CF Tennis said, right? That he's just going to sit and memorize the script. You don't want to have a desperate attitude like this. If a prospect is telling you, I'm going to call you back in 6 months, you still have a smile on your face. Guys, we want arrogant salespeople out here. Who wants to be an arrogant salesperson? So we don't want to accept, we don't get dingle dangle around. Nobody pushes us around into corners. We say, you take it now at my time, or then you find another product to buy. And when can you say that? When you have enough. When can you say that, guys? I mean, when you have so much more than you can handle. So when my pipeline is 3 quarters ahead already, I've already got my numbers with POs lying on my table for 3 quarters. So when I left Samsung, they said, you know what, you think you're gonna, you're not gonna be, missed or whatever. I said, yeah, come on. I mean, every company keeps working. And then after, when I called him the next quarter, he's like, see, I told you, you guys are just gonna continue, right? I mean, nobody's gonna miss anybody. He's saying, what do you think I'm doing? All your POs of the next 6 months, I have had to tell distributors to buy right now because we were missing our numbers. But when you have, that's the freedom, right? And that's what I talk about when you're talking about financial freedom. And this is what we want to share with you. So how can you become so damn unstoppable?
My name is Anand Joseph. I'm the Vice President for Sales and Product Management at Blue Rhine General Trading. We are established in 6 countries in the GCC where we distribute products mainly into the signage industry. And one of our key product areas of growth is digital signage, where we are the distributor for Philips. We've been a distributor for Philips commercial signage screens for the past 4 years. And very recently, about 7-8 months ago, they had given us the opportunity to partner with Philips also for their hospitality range of screens, which are for in-room guest displays for hotels. And fortunately, we were introduced to Alifia around that time. And she has helped guide us through this industry, which is definitely a very new vertical compared to what we've been doing in the past which is mainly in the signage and retail and commercial developments. So hospitality is a brand new segment, and fortunately with her experience and sales training, she was able to guide myself and my digital signage team to also understand the hospitality industry and target specific projects so that we could gain a foothold gradually. And in that period, we were able to close a couple of projects, which has helped us create a nice foundation for future growth in the hospitality industry. And we're very, she gave a lot of valuable feedback, spent a lot of time with the team on a weekly basis, and was available whenever we need her, even for meetings, client meetings, and the assistance and guidance was really helpful, and the training for everybody. I can speak on behalf of the team also. And it's definitely given us a good foundation now to pursue further growth within the hospitality industry throughout the GCC region. And definitely, as the opportunity arises also in the future, we will look forward to working with her also in the coming years or months.
So the question is, how can you get into a vertical that you've never been in? Or the question is, can you bring a new product and give it to the existing vertical that you're already strong and powerful in? Because in this time of COVID, and especially in 2021, whatever your complaints and excuses were for 2020 are not accepted. You've got to take things in hand, take things in control, and behave like an employee, because you've got to learn to fire yourself if things are not going to keep moving. Not getting a number is not an option. It's just not an option. Stop fooling yourselves, guys. So this is where we are. The first day with strategy, mindset, working on your blueprint. It's a life changer, because sometimes we just keep going into the field and looking for customers, but come on, go take a step back and understand what are your core strengths, what are your pricing, what is your, and why is it so? Who am I and why me? That's if you answer, you will know exactly how to pitch it right. The second day, when you're with your customer, everything that you need to do, prospecting, qualification, need, problem solving, rapport, how can you feed stories and things like that. And then finally, you want to make sure you're bringing the deal home. And that's what it is. So usually it's $591, but I did tell you that I have a special bonus for you in the end. But these are some of the bonuses. We give you a checklist. Everything is ready-made for you. You can spend 20 years to figure it out, but you are born with another quest, and it's about leveraging and partnering with someone who's done something and spent extra time on. So opening questions and closing questions is a life changer, to be honest. If you just master this day, the second day, this is what we work on the second day. We're mainly working on scripts, we're working on checklists, we're working on customizing everything, elevator pitch to your business and to your product lines. And then you're overcoming objections. And this is exactly what it is. And we have a special offer for you. We're giving it at $297. So what is $297? One deal in the next month, you break even. But imagine if you keep doing more deals in the year, you're just going to multiply this number. So if it even simplifies and makes something easy for you, challenge you to take it, guys. Stop being a part of the things are not going to just change on its own. It's about taking partnership. I also have a money back guarantee for you. So after attending day one, which is the most important day in my opinion, the blueprint that you take. Once you have that blueprint, you just take that and run during the year, because you already know what's your number. So once you have that, if you don't think it's worth at least 10 times the money that you paid for the program, you take your full money back, no questions asked. So that's an all win, okay? So why do salespeople fail? It's just because mentally you have an issue. Probably you're physically not prepared. You feel you're not right. You don't have the right body language. You feel you're not the right personality. You feel you're an introvert or whatever. You need to physically prepare yourself to get into that, confidently show that power, that arrogance, that attitude, and then go kill it. And then you have conversations. Once you speak your mouth, maybe your mind is correct. You're looking perfect, but once you open your mouth, you don't have that flair that you need. But all of this can be avoided by just practice and preparation. And like I say, children are the best salespeople. They know who is their target audience. They know what they can go to their mamas for. They know exactly what the grandparent will be useful for. So first thing is about identifying the right prospect. And then you go and give the right pitch. Are you gonna need tears, or are you gonna do with a please? What works? So that's your physical preparation, right? And then what are you gonna say? Are you gonna cry and throw a tantrum? So kids are the best. So if any of you ever been a child, you're already a salesperson. Just come sharpen the axe, learn how to cycle, get the tricks, get the scripts, and you're ready to perform from day one. Even if you think you can do it yourself, I encourage you to use these inputs and do it yourself. Don't take sales for granted. Please do not take sales for granted. Rajesh, I'll come to that shortly. I'll give you the dates. Not only for you, but also for your entire team. Do not take sales for granted. If you learn this skill, people learn spirituality, leadership. I mean, this is gonna get you money in your damn pocket and make it stress-free for you. So how cool is that? I want to just tell you quickly something. When I decided to become an entrepreneur after leaving my employment journey, I came to crossroads, to be very honest. I mean, 20 years doing hundreds and millions of dollars. And when I actually decided to become an entrepreneur, I started with a digital marketing company. And things were just not, I was like, shit, I'm like, what do I do? Like, I mean, how do I start a company? And then there were these statistics about, and we've never been trained to become our own business owners and things like that. And after so much of contacts in the entire market, having so many friends, and I just couldn't figure out how to do a damn business. And I started with a digital marketing company, but at one point of time, I was like, someone give me a product and I can sell and make some money. I'm like, I don't know how to create a product. I'm like, I don't know how to become a consultant. I mean, I've been selling technology, but I'm not technical enough to become a technical consultant. And this digital marketing company I got on board, he said, oh, they're in India. So they said, okay, fine, I will represent their product and I will do the sales, because today if you're doing sales, then you need to go online and things like that. And then when I actually met my mentors, they said, you may be a 50-50 partnership on the digital marketing company, but if you see deeper, you're just still a salesperson. It's their company in India, and you're just selling for them here, and everything is like, what? I mean, it's a partnership, but then it's good to know, and it's good to know how to go online and how do you get leads and things like that. And then there was this entire crossroads where I said, shit, what have I done in my life? My entire life I've been selling like from 16, but I'm just completely just a shiny shoe salesman. Like, what good am I? Have you ever felt so worthless in your life, guys? I mean, seriously. But what my mentors taught me, the realization I had from here was, look around you. There are so many people who have their own businesses. They have got all the things that I lack. Like, you've got your company, you've got your products, you've got whatever you have. But if you can't get your customer on board, and there's so many people who've got everything that you lack, but they're not being able to get that customer on board. So guess what? This is the best handshake, right? And that's what I said, fine, let's put everything that I need to put together and become a sales so that I can help businesses to scale and grow. Let's not have another business who's not making enough money. So I encourage you all, come shake hands with me. Let's do this together. I love creating go-to-market strategies, and we can do this for you, and you can use it for your business. You can jumpstart something that you're doing. Let's do it together. And I want to tell you again, you need to have the best product or service. My sales training is the best available in the market. I must tell you that. And sadly, there is hardly competition. There's hardly anybody who's doing what I'm doing, because I'm doing very practical oriented sales. But if you can't have the best product or service, you're not going to have any income. And sales skills are life skills. If you learn it today, you're going to practice and implement it all your life. So that's so powerful. Let me ask you one last time, what is more valuable, time or money? So if you guys said money, I have something for you. So I have a special bonus. This is the bonus I was talking about for the next 2 days only, valid. Is you can get a 60-minute health check with us on your sales strategy. What are you doing for your business and what you're doing? But you can also have a partner along. So I'm a big fan of accountability partners. So for the same price, $297, you can actually bring a buddy along. It's only valid for the next 2 days. And if you notice, everything I'm doing today is something you need to duplicate for your own businesses. This is what I mean when I talk about a sales presentation or a sales offer that you put together as a package, which has a few requisites, it has a few bonuses, and then it has something that you create an urgency with. So I'm giving out my tips and my tricks now. And this, if you can take this away also as a learning that you take today's 2 hours that you spent with me and apply it and see how you can make this happen in your own businesses, take this and run. We're in January today, and I don't want anyone to miss a number. So we've agreed and committed to a number that you have. Do it yourself or do it with me. Do it. Okay? It's not how much it's worth. It's how much. It's not how much it costs, but it's how much it's going to make you. So this $200, $300, how much is it going to make you? That's the question you want to ask. Time is money, and money can buy time. I like that payment. Yeah, money can. So, I mean, we've already lived half our lives, right? So do you want to figure it out yourself for another, how much time, how many days, how many more years are you going to spend? But just, shake hands, I collaborate. It's all about collaboration and partnerships that works. That's where we are, $591 plus a lot of bonuses, which has come down to $297. Special rate of $297, which is only 1,000 euros. Like, it's really a steal, and it's a go. I feel let's just do less, but yeah, let's do it. We're doing it for COVID. We're doing it for everyone. Take a step in the next 2 days. The link is in the chat. Sandy, if you can share the link, please, and get a buddy along. Plus, get your health check done for yourself. Yeah, see it. I think it's hanging for me. I hope it doesn't hang. Group is gonna come back.
You are mute, Alifia. You are on mute.
Hi, sorry about that. Thanks for all sticking in. All right, we almost luckily did finish. But do you all see my screen now?
Yeah, we can see. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's it. We finished everything. I hope this has been valuable. Just the last 2 slides. My life mandate is anyone who lives within their means suffers from a lack of imagination. Okay. And I also have a mandate for your lives, which is Albert Einstein. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is only insanity. So I invite you all to come on board. Thank you all for listening. I would tell you that if you think you're ready to sign up, click on the damn link and sign up. But if you think you're not ready to sign up, I would say still click on the link and sign up, because your mind is going to play games. Don't let it become the master. It's ideal for other business. Listen to your gut feeling and take the call. Don't let your mind trick you. And that's important.
Alifia, what are the dates of these 3 days?
So we do it on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the last week of the month. So in February, the last week of Feb, we will do it from 6 to 9. It will be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the last week of February.
In the evening, 6 to 9. Okay.
Yes, 6 to 9. So that you guys are done, we don't get phones, and it's extensive, and it's with videos on, and that's what we do.
So it's a month. It's a wait of 1 month.
Sorry?
It's a wait for 1 month.
It's a wait because we just finished the Jan 1. So we, so we try to do that a little bit.
It's the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of Feb.
Yes.
Thank
it
you,
will be the
Rajesh.
last week of the month.
That's being specific to close it.
Yes. So 22,
Okay.
23, 24. So I invite you all to come, and it's very useful. And we start 15 days ahead. So we have a few questionnaires and we have a few things that you will sit and think, because it's good to come ready with a number. So I have a few exercises that you will do so that you've thought through what you want to achieve. So we start from the 15th, where you do a little bit of a pre-prep, and take it from there then. So that's what works best.
Perfect. Fine.
I hope you found it valuable. Anyone wants to share a diamond?
Yeah, diamonds were many. Usually the diamonds give you the indication that what is important to me. So,
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
So what is important for you will be important to, but you're just verbalizing it. So somebody else can use it as well, right?
So for me, the takeaway is a salesperson is 80% listening and 20% talking.
This is very important. And for listening, you need to have the right questions. Because after time you start talking because there's a quiet, weird moment. And then half the time it looks like you're interrogating the buyer so much. Like, what the hell, you're just asking questions and, he's just telling you his entire, so it feels awkward after a point. So how do you do it amicably in a way? And that's the powerful questions. And you don't look like you're interrogating him like a boss, but still, trying to build a rapport and becoming a friend.
Yes.
Parag, what was your takeaway? Hemant, what was your takeaway, Hemant?
Like what struck me is the follow-up. I do follow up, but then I don't take so much interest in follow-up. I get tired, or I get mentally tired of following up. I can physically do it, but I said, leave it. So
it's just the awareness that only 2% closes in the first 4 meetings or 5 meetings or first 5 follow-ups. It will make you figure out a few things. So sometimes you're just not aware of what's not working in our cycle. So even if that just opens up and you follow up well enough, it will transform some things for you. So it's just about awareness. Anything learned is never lost.
True. Fantastic.
So let's say if you're a solopreneur and you have somebody admin, you're sending out quotation. She's sending out quotation you. So can she do the follow up, or is it that you being the face of the company, I have to follow up?
So I wouldn't say you do everything, because if you're a solopreneur, you're saying. So if you're alone,
So
if you're alone, right? So who else will?
Yeah,
so
but you have other people like who are reactive sales, and you are doing, the preparing after inquiries are come, the preparing quotation, but you are always talking to the client or something. So is it okay for somebody else you give the script and you tell them to use the script and you train them basically what to do, and they speak the same thing basically?
So the power with the scripts is that anyone can become. So I love to say, I like to have the smile in sales all the time. I feel it should be like a game of numbers. when it's coming and it's fun and stuff like that. So I like to help you identify what are you unstoppable at, like which part of the funnel are you awesome at, and then you want to make sure you never lose that part. And then for all the others that sometimes burn you down, it's great to have someone. But if you're all alone, then you're all alone. But not doing it is not going to help. So yeah, it's about identifying and how to work your team. That's one part of automation also. Because can you holiday and your business keeps running? Important.
So is it an in-person thing or we do it on Zoom?
It's on Zoom. It's on Zoom.
On Zoom. Okay, it's on Zoom.
Time, but it's a lot of. It's not a. This is the only time I talk so much. But because I have to be mindful of giving maximum value within the less time, so I don't even like let people talk, because sometimes people talk slow and they just take it away, and so it's better to just let them chat and put in the chat box, and then I know I can get the content through across that I need to get in the time that we have.
So this training will happen over the Zoom, like the virtual training, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
It is Zoom. We have one-on-ones before that, and we have one-on-one after that as well for each and every. So the goal is to give you the blueprint that you have for the rest of the year. So once you are clear about your pricing, and I work numbers. I don't work on. I can't understand anything without numbers. So what you say, and then you agree on your bottom line, you agree on your GP, NP, whatever that you need to do, and you come back with those sheets. And to achieve that, what you're going to do is what you put together, and it all comes down to a single page. That's it. Then that's what your Bible. It's like your Bible. It should be on your wall for the rest of the year. So that clarity about your pricing, about your offers, what's going to be your, how many products are you taking to the market, and how many offers are you going to create is what it is. So it comes down to products, and it comes down to target audiences.
Good. Fair enough.
Awesome. Thank you for your
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much to
sharing. And I'm so sorry the thing dropped in the end, but luckily it dropped at a good time.
We have all experienced in last 10 months all this, so we are part of it. So, okay.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you very much. See you all then. See you at the end of the. But in the next 2 days, take your decision so that you can, make the most of it.
Yes, we'll do that.
And if 2 people have learned the same material and the same content, it's super cool because you can keep each other accountable for the rest of the year.
True.
So that's very powerful.
Agreed.
See y'all.
Thank you.
Okay.